Class of 2022. We welcome all family, friends, and loved ones to the Terry College of Business Undergraduate Convocation. At this time, we ask all graduates and guests to please stand as you are able for the procession of the platform party to the stage.
Please be seated. I am Ben Ayers, Dean of the Terry College of Business, and it's my distinct pleasure to welcome you, students, family, friends, and honored guests, to the Undergraduate Convocation for bachelor's degree candidates from the Terry College of Business. Today, we celebrate the achievements of the class of 2022. You have reached a major milestone in your lives. You graduates and everyone who cares about you are deservedly proud of you accomplishing this goal, fulfilling this dream, and being on the doorstep of the next big chapter in your lives. This is truly an exciting time. As graduates of the University of Georgia and the Terry College of Business, you are joining a proud tradition of academic excellence and personal and professional leadership. Degrees in business have been conferred by the University of Georgia for over 100 years, and it's truly a remarkable history, characterized by durability, adaptability, and graduates who serve and leave effectively in their professions as well as in their communities. Every year throughout our history, the business education that we delivered has evolved and has changed with the times. It's been our expectation of you as graduates that you've learned and developed an analytical mindset, a deeper understanding of when it's time to step forward and lead, and when it's better to step back and follow. A curiosity around innovation and an openness to new approaches and novel thinking, a greater appreciation for ethical practices as well as sustainable growth, and a willingness to ask questions and solve complicated problems not only for your customers and your clients, but also in your communities. Our faculty, your instructors, have traveled down this path with you into curiosity, inquiry, and discovery. They are recognized for their impactful research and their excellence in instruction. And Terry's undergraduate and graduate programs have been elevated by their national reputation. Currently, 13 of our programs are ranked among the nation's best, including 7 of our programs ranked in the top 10 among public business schools. For our graduate, what this means for you is that your program of study has helped you develop the perspective, the skills, and the confidence to be effective leaders in the companies that you will represent and the businesses that you will build. Your success in the future is vitally important to all of us. Now, it's my honor to introduce the platform party representing the faculty who taught you and the academic leaders who have supported you along the way. As I introduce each individual, I ask them to please stand and remain standing, and I'll ask the audience to please hold your applause until everyone on stage has been introduced. We begin with alumni representative Greg Rizzo. Greg's granddaughter, Caitlin Kohlberg, is among our graduates today. Next is Laura Clark, Director of Undergraduate Programs, Randy Grooms, Director of Diversity Relations, Rob Hoyt, Head of the Insurance, Legal Studies, and Real Estate Department, John Hullen, Head of the Marketing Department, Marit Boudreau, Head of the Management Information Systems Department, Bob Vandenberg, Head of the Management Department, Annette Polson, Meg's Professor in the Finance Department, Chris Cornwell, Head of the Economics Department, Holly Shramsky, Lecturer in the J.M. Toll School of Accounting, Sarah Fraker, Senior Director for Finance Administration, Shantanu Chatterjee, Associate Dean for Diversity, International and Master's Programs, Mike Farr, Associate Dean for Research and Executive Programs, Henry Munike, Associate Dean for Undergraduate Programs, and today's keynote speaker, Ruth Bartlett, a retired partner of Frazier and Dieter in Atlanta. In addition to the distinguished faculty and guests on stage, there are a number of Terry professors that are here today. Our students have benefited greatly from the opportunity to learn from these outstanding educators. Will all faculty please stand and be recognized? I also want to acknowledge the faculty who will be taking turns reading the names of our degree candidates today as they cross the stage. Margaret Chris from the J.M. Toll School of Accounting and Jennifer Osborne of the Department of Marketing. They have a big job in a ceremony like this, and we thank them for their efforts. Thank you. We are so pleased to have Ruth Bartlett join us today as our keynote speaker. Ruth is proudly one of our own. She grew up in Atlanta and never goes very many weeks without a trip from her home in Hilton Head, either to come back here to Athens or to Atlanta. She's a graduate of the J.M. Toll School of Accounting and enjoyed a distinguished 42-year career in public accounting. Almost 30 of those years were spent with the Atlanta office of Frazier and Dieter. Ruth is also a servant leader. She served on the Terry College Alumni Board for 8 years, including chairing our board in 2005. She also went on to serve the university as president of the UGA Alumni Association from 2015 to 2017. And Ruth is also a trailblazer. She was chosen to lead Frazier and Dieter's growing audit department and was the firm's first female partner, and she was the first female to serve as president of the Georgia Society of CPAs. Finally, and perhaps notably, Ruth is a person who honors her commitments. I'm going to let her explain that last part to you in just a minute. So, without any further delay, please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, Ruth Bartlett.
Thank you, Dean Ayers. It's an honor to be here with you and the class of 2022. When he talks about honoring our commitments, I was asked to be Convocation speaker 3 years ago, so it's been a long time coming in the making, and third time is the charm. So Today is a great day to be a Georgia Bulldog. In my volunteer positions with Terry and the university, my favorite experiences have always been those spent with students. Whether it was speaking to a class, interviewing accounting students on campus, or mentoring students, I've always been impressed with the students and the energy I get from you. When I was president of the UGA Alumni Association, my favorite event was presiding and getting to speak at commencement at night, which will be held at Sanford Stadium this evening. I'm hoping most of y'all will attend that ceremony as well. It'll be well worth your time to have that common concluding experience with all of your UGA classmates. And you'll be welcomed this evening by the current UGA Alumni President, Yvette Daniels. So now I'd like you to just take a moment and look around, look at the people next to you, look maybe behind you, try to find your friends and family up in the stands. We're always so busy. Yeah, give them a wave. Excellent. We are often so busy, we forget to just take in the present. And I want you to feel the energy that I feel up here speaking before you here in the Coliseum. Being back in Athens also makes me think of all the things that are special to me about Athens, like ringing the chapel bell, the Hertie Fountain at night, the bridge and Sanford Stadium, the vibe of downtown Athens, and of course, our arch. I even had a replica of the arch made for my fence gate down in Hilton Head, so I get to see it every day. My hope for you is that in 40 years or 10 years or 50 years, when you return to the university, you'll have those same fond memories that I have. So we're going to switch gears, and I'm going to talk to you today about doors. That's right, doors. The doors you went through to get to UGA, the doors you've gone through since you've been here, and most importantly, the doors that you will find when you cross the stage today. Doors are portals to opportunity and challenge and adventure. These experiences are part of what have made you who you are today and who you will become. Now, physical doors allow us to pass between spaces, but metaphorical doors open us up to all possibilities of life. At some point in time in high school, you began to think about where you wanted to go to college. Getting from there to here required you to go through many doors. And early one Saturday morning, you went through the door of a testing center to take your SAT or ACT. You've also passed through doors of ambition, determination, dedication, and tenacity. Getting admitted to, succeeding at, and graduating from the University of Georgia and the Terry College of Business is not easy. It's the combination of those physical doors and symbolic doors that propelled you here today. When you got to UGA, even more doors appeared before you. Hundreds, if not thousands, at Brumby and Cresswell and Russell, the doors at Bolton and Snelling for your late night study breaks, exercising over at Ramsey, and our lovely doors we have all around the Terry business learning community, labs, study rooms, and classrooms. The doors to professors' offices and faculty are always open to you, and we have a great team of faculty and staff here at Terry. You're also facing doors of decision and choice. Who will my friends be? Should I join a fraternity or sorority? What will my major be? How many times might I change my major? Should I secure an internship or perhaps a study abroad? And then there's the doors that we Terry alums have helped you open, holding mentoring sessions with you, interviewing you on campus, speaking in classes, and on and on. I can tell you we Terry alums care about you now and about your future, and we will continue to be here for you. In fact, I'll give a shout out. I'm sure there's a number of Terry alums that I went to school with and folks I've met through my involvement in Terry and the university that are here today, so thank you for being here. My hope is that each of you will grow into that special Terry alum, helping students just like yourself one day. But the most important doors that you will face in your life will not open automatically. There won't be someone there holding them open for you. No, the important doors are often most difficult to open, whether for fear of what's on the other side or whether you determining whether you think you are capable. Do not let those fears and concerns matter to you. It's in conquering your doubts that we strive our own greatness. So that brings us to this momentous day. Your college days will end in an hour or more when you pass across this stage and through the doors of the Coliseum. What doors await you out there? What experiences await you? What challenges might you face? There will be jobs, of course, and I understand that most of you already have jobs in hand, so congratulations for that. So I believe it's important when you pass through the doors of the Coliseum today, you will begin to define success for yourself. Of course, you want to be successful professionally, but I think that's a narrow definition of success. I'd like to share just a couple thoughts on what success has meant to me. In January, if some of you all were there when Kirby Smart spoke in Sanford Stadium just after winning the national championship, he did a quote from Henry David Thoreau that said, "Success usually comes to those who are too busy to be looking for it." And I suspect you will all be soon very, very busy. But my one takeaway for you today is, while building your career, also build strong personal relationships. I'm retired now, but I still stay very busy. I had a 42-year career in public accounting and believe that I achieved, I would say, financial and professional success. However, my greatest reward has come from relationships that I have built and continue to cultivate today. Whether they were personal relationships with people at my firm or my family or clients or folks that I worked side by side in volunteer roles, it is the personal relationships that continue to propel me into a fulfilled life today. So as you move into that next chapter of your life, the working world, think about how you will define your success. Obviously, you want success at work, but think about how to make your life fulfilled. How might you build strong personal relationships? If you're like me, I think you'll appreciate getting involved in activities outside of work, maybe activities in your community or with your faith, or volunteering for nonprofit organizations. Perhaps you'll get involved as an alumni with Terry or positions at UGA. So shortly, you're all going to be graduates. And I think you know that all graduates automatically become members of the UGA Alumni Association. We keep in touch with you through your email address, so please plan to keep that email address up to date with the university. When you start your careers throughout the country or even abroad, know that we have alumni chapters that will invite you to events. And I encourage you, please stay connected to Terry and to UGA. So in closing today, I hope I've earned the privilege of your time. Thank you again, Dean Ayers, and the class of 2022. Be thoughtful about the doors you open in the weeks, months, and years to come. Hold strong to your definition of success. Serve your community and serve others. You now represent the Terry College of Business and the University of Georgia, and I know you're going to make us proud. Go Dogs!
Ruth, thank you so much for your inspirational words and also being a person who has opened many, many doors for others and how you've set a great example for all of us. We have a small token of our appreciation to thank you for serving as our keynote speaker.
Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it.
Thank you. So now it's time for our onstage recognition of Terry College students who have completed the requirements for the undergraduate degrees, beginning with our first honor graduates. As degree candidates cross the stage, you're going to do so on my left, I will hand you a cylinder containing a signed and numbered print of the business learning community. In the interest of health and safety, if you would like to fist bump me, you can fist bump me. So the cylinder including that is a piece of art that we commissioned 5 years ago when the college moved to our fantastic new home at the corner of Lumpkin and Baxter Streets. The painting is by Athens artist Jamie Calkin, and it's a colorful representation of the Terry College of Business. Graduates, we hope that you will display this proudly.
We will now recognize Terry College students who have completed the requirements for Bachelor of Business Administration and the Bachelor of Arts. To begin with, 34 Terry graduates earned a perfect 4.0 GPA during their undergraduate studies at UGA. Marshals are escorting these first honor graduates to the stage. Rachel Claire Gaston, MIS. Victoria Ann Edens, Management. Josie Eileen Baldwin, Accounting. Kaylee Bree Willard, Management. Paige Nicole Farrell, Finance. Cole Jackson Hunter, Accounting. Ava Lee Bauer, Finance and Management. Rachel Elizabeth Poovey, Finance. Ashley Marie Aki, General Business. Emma Victoria Biancheri, Finance, MIS. Andrew Litchfield Hill, Finance, Real Estate. Lydia Joy Medford, Finance. Alexandra Elizabeth Walsh, Real Estate. Benjamin Daniel Shaver, Economics. Zachary David Pope, Economics. Adrian Valdivia Roman, Risk Management. Sanisha Rajiv Shah, Risk Management. Garrett Christopher Ginther, Finance. Taylor Lauren Stabline, Management. Rachel Christine Repke, Accounting. Zachary Lee Washburn, Finance. Mary Grace Palmer, Marketing. Kirsten Ann Keegan, Finance. Ashton Niles Cooper, Finance. Okay. Please join me in congratulating these first honor graduates for their outstanding achievements. In all, about 2,000 Terry undergraduates are eligible to walk today as graduates of the fall, spring, and summer semesters. Marshals will escort degree candidates by row, beginning at the front. We ask the audience not to applaud individual candidates so that family and friends are able to hear the names of each student as it is read. Finally, out of respect for our graduating students, guests, and convocation speakers, we ask that everyone remain seated to the end of the ceremony to honor all graduates. Caitlin Renee Kohlberg, Marketing. Colin Matthew Krieger, Finance. Sydney Scott Kaufman, Marketing. Alexandra Marie Catalano, Marketing. Victoria Lynn Halls, Accounting. Hallie Rebecca Feinbaum, Economics and Risk Management. Michaela Nicole Brick, Marketing. Ella Helen Evans, Finance. Madeline Grace Allen, Marketing. Randy Catherine Marie Cass, Marketing. Jacob Porter Bosworth, MIS. Sahur Kamer, Accounting. Andrew Darcy Beard, Accounting. David Anthony Young, Economics. Margaret Elizabeth Warren, Finance and Risk Management. Arvind Kashifpour, Risk Management. Sina Mohammed Askari, Management. Alina Eskandari, Risk Management. Clayton Barber Wells, Finance. Nayan Titan Do'o, Finance. Luke Lawrence McDevitt, Management. Charles Joshua Rayfield, Finance. Jonathan Creed Hook, Marketing. William Cannon Smith, Management. Joseph Arnold Ham, MIS. Damian Kyle Diaz, MIS and Finance. Emily Taylor Marks, Finance. Jubyong Che, Economics. Austin Wade Grubbs, Management. Lauren Elizabeth Salter, Marketing. Mitchell Eric Miller, Finance. Joseph Russell Cribbs, Finance and Marketing. Peyton Michelle Gooding, Risk Management. Karan Patel, MIS. Samuel Robert Loudinger, Finance. Stephen Frederick Horn, Finance and Marketing. Leah Nedza, Marketing. Catherine Ann Hartness, Marketing. Taylor Nicole Reyes, Marketing. Lily Putnam Newell, Accounting. Suzanne Mangano, Marketing. Kathleen Grace Quinn, MIS. Chase Thomas Forlini, Economics. Patrick Ryan Coyle, Finance. May Joy Hu, MIS. Skylar Alidia, MIS. Liz Wong, MIS. Robert Parker Cook, Management. Paul Austin Hawkinson, Jr., Finance and Risk Management. Tyler Jacob Mello, Marketing. Cole Edward Chapman, Management. Angela Ruby Chavez-Ru Aria, Marketing. Dylan Keith Reese, Risk Management. Frederick Peterson Hall, Economics. Ryan Lee, Marketing. Sierra Aspen Freeman, Management. Benjamin James Deal, Marketing. Banks William Etheridge, Finance and MIS. Ryan Michael Cooney, accounting. Scott Gunnar Braswell, risk management. Charles Boyd Carver, marketing. Hayden Duke Chun, economics. William Campbell Gibbons, accounting. Jack Parker Herring, finance. Matthew McKissick Eichard, economics. Luke Joseph Hebert, finance. Michael Doran Bennett, risk management. Connor William Haverman, finance. Brianna Danielle Mays, management. Danielle Irene Taraki, management. Nandit Patel, finance. Jonathan Sahil Varghese, finance and MIS. Kevin Reed Shutley, finance. Matthew Linus Gwynn, economics and finance. Garrett Davis Hangartner, management. Coulter Timpson Bostick Jr., finance. Alexander Lawrence Can, finance. John Francis Bowman, accounting. Jacob Andrew Cooper, management. Jeffrey Parker Landue, MIS. Benton Robert Hounshell, MIS. Thomas Edgar Powell, marketing. Daniel Tyler Bramlett, finance. Hannah Rose McCula, risk management. Susan Marie McKibben, finance. Logan Horace McNabb, management.
James Aloysius Doherty, general business. Joshua Stewart Melvin, finance. Bridget Elizabeth Keelahan, accounting. Bailey Michelle Johnson, marketing. Vanessa Ann Adams, marketing. Sneha Ghosh, MIS. Jamie Janelle Hamilton, economics. Brian Austin Brown, management. Lauren Ashley Wilbanks, management. Benjamin William Kemp, risk management. Cole Peterson Abbott, finance. Samir Tandon, marketing. Austin Nathaniel Darnell, real estate. Madison Jean Schaurer, finance. Crystal Ann Foote, marketing. Mackenzie Powell Crooms, economics. Ryan Phillip Leonard, marketing. Lawson Burke Smith, MIS. Connor Douglas Bowler, MIS. Tara Yasmin Parsa, MIS. Elizabeth Fields, MIS. Christy Peck, business administration. Chase Evan Jark, risk management. Kennedy Elizabeth Hugo, accounting. Travis Andrews Mall, economics. Madison Lee Polaesco, accounting. Kelsey Mueller Brown, real estate. Chase David Starr, economics. Clark Asbury Newton, finance. William Drew Carlisle, marketing. Gracelyn Jane Mayfield, management. Catherine Dempsey, management. Kevin Marshall Gibson, marketing. Sean Matthew Coleman Dowd, marketing. Clayton Samuel Colville, finance and marketing. Zachary William Gilbert, MIS. Jackson Greer Hurt, Finance. Jordan Lewis Jones, Finance. John Patrick Smith, Marketing. Grant Wheeler Goldberg, Accounting. Eric Beal Johnson, Accounting. Justin Daniel Kelly, Accounting. Brooke Ann Raziano, Accounting. Madison Marie Fusito, Accounting. Elise Ijem Teniel, MIS. Anna Noreen Price, MIS. Ross Michael Bienick, Risk Management. Jasmine Vasquez Martinez, MIS. Alondro Santos Flores. Zach Jacob Chirian, Economics. Bo Van Michael Kemp, Management Real Estate. Paul Christopher Johan Jr., Real Estate. Harrison Yihua Hong, MIS. Ishan Patel, Risk Management. Ethan B. James, MIS. James Min Dang, Risk Management. Charles Anthony Idex, Finance. Ishan Kalra, Finance. Chahat Kumar, Accounting and Finance. Christian Alexander Goins, Economics. Benjamin James Carter, MIS. Prishoti Boriker, MIS. Nicholas Johannes Terwind, Marketing. Joseph Bronson Ray, Marketing. Haley Alyssa Kodrin, Management. Paige Elizabeth Allen, Economics. Alana M. Alverson, Finance. Robin Evelyn Enzulis, Economics. Robert Stroud Payne, Economics. Rachel Catherine Strickland, Marketing. Michelle Wynn, Marketing. Luke Dylan Nelson, Risk Management. Carter D. Malcolm, Risk Management. Christina Michelle Fortwangler, Marketing. Sarah Morgan Wenda, Marketing. Claire Elizabeth Plochet, Risk Management. Caitlin Elise Anyon, Marketing Risk Management. Megan Piper Carlson, Accounting. Isabel Amal Scoggins, Finance MIS. Matthew Jake Shapiro, Finance. Charles Robert Trebus, Real Estate. Maxwell Jacob Musalis, Finance and Real Estate. Tris Ryan Sebesta, Management. Michael James Pisacreta, Management. Drew M. Silva, Management. John R. Neville, Finance. Parker Edward Thalen, Management. William Rhett Meehan, Risk Management. Jordan Elizabeth Stroop, Accounting. Bailey Simpkins, Finance. Jacqueline Ray Nimendick, Marketing. Matthew Joseph Sullivan, Risk Management. Savannah Nicole Sykes, Management and Marketing. Jessica Faith Morgan, Management. William Bridger Rollins, Accounting and Finance. Chase Leo Merberger, Management Information Systems. Theyrosha Mohan Kumar, Risk Management. Haley Ann Stewart. Evelyn Grace Huang, Economics Marketing. James Colin Latham, Economics. David Jackson Whalen Jr., Risk Management. Doni J. Jufari, Management, Information Systems. Yush Patel, Finance. Avi Patel, Economics. Nishant Haresh Patel, Finance MIS. Maru Seminath Gandhi, Economics. Rohit Riddhi Punala, Finance. Ranak Patel, MIS. Luke Thomas McCartney, Finance. Stephen Trent Swinehart, Finance. Margaret W. O'Leary, MIS. Jonathan Brett Laurier, Risk Management. Preston Michael Jameson, MIS. Anna Elizabeth Gelderman, MIS. Nathan John Shear, Finance. Trevor Vincent Mealahan, Finance MIS. Mills Cooper Berry, Management. Cole Kinnaman, Management. Avery Crawford, Real Estate. Peyton Chansey McKendrick, Risk Management. Hampton Colin Taliaferro, Finance. Noah Stone Martin, Management. Thomas Murphy Woolley, Risk Management. James Nathan Michelson, Finance. Hayes Poindexter, Marketing. Brian Romero, Risk Management. Daniel Edward Smalls, General Business. Caitlin Beatrice Dirks, Management Information Systems. Jaden Julia Olson, Risk Management. Addie Harmon Cullum, Economics. Jalen Alexander Marchand, Economics. Jeffrey Maxwell Poole, Economics. Callie Ann Maffett, Accounting. Gustavo Alcalde, Marketing. Jonah Andrew Dice, Finance Economics. Arish Vulaani, Finance Risk Management. Derek Gabriel Lewis, Finance MIS. Jackson Alexander Britchie, Finance. Andrew William Fox, Finance. Alexander Scott Bruce, MIS. Matthew Edward Breesmester, Accounting. Noah Darwin Lucas, Finance Risk Management. Joseph John Boudreau, Finance. Drew Kenneth Biger, Finance. Andrew L. Fusco, Finance. Catherine Scarlett Ruiz, Finance. Skylar Elijah Wilson, Marketing. Curtis James Erger, MIS. Brett Allen Lauren, Finance. Coleman Anderson, Finance. Evan Landron Kiekendall, Finance. Emmanuel Edward Dubois Charles, Management. Carly Jade Anderson, Marketing. Dwayne Nathan Nichols, Accounting. Brady Malcolm Marchman, Accounting. William Gerald Warner, Accounting. Nicholas Baldwin Oliver, Management. Hu Ren Yin, Accounting. Jenny Nguyen, Marketing. Kara Elizabeth Talcott, Marketing. Jake Yeldo Jacob, Economics. Brian Primo Shrum, Economics. Maxwell Guy Kimball, MIS. Austin David Joost, Risk Management. Charles Kernahan Tarbutton, Jr., Finance. Reese Richard Sullivan, Finance. William Randolph Spivey, Finance. Mindert Thahan, real estate. Joanna Marie Lott. Johanna? Johanna Marie Lott, real estate. Justin Caleb Clinton, real estate. Hayden Joseph Davenport, real estate. Whitney Elizabeth Rose Poncel, real estate. Bobby Lewis Falcone, risk management. Natalie Maciel Torrealba, management. Rebecca Gail Turner, management. Catherine Ann Taylor, economics. Grayson Elizabeth Weaver, MIS. Sarah Elizabeth Polizzi, finance. Madison Nicole Clower, management. William Garrett Jones, finance. Robert Stevens Jordan, real estate. Hilmar First Houston, finance. Edward Thornton Anderson, real estate. Alyssa Marie Sutton, economics. Catherine Cumby Hiley, economics. Emma Catherine Serber, economics. Caroline Jenner Stearns, marketing. Brianne Catherine O'Hara, risk management. Naomi Sutton Stone, MIS. Andrew C. Williams, real estate. Carter Lee Sumlin, economics. Anthony Roger Perito, MIS. Austin Levi Pitchford, risk management. Joshua Nicholas Rodriguez, marketing. Claire Catherine Hutchinson, finance. Christina Calvert Campbell, economics. Danny Robert Morrison, MIS. Brian Joseph DiCarlo, economics. Cassidy Elizabeth Wardrop, risk management. Lauren Elizabeth Gowan, finance. Jackson Dent Singletary, accounting. Brandon Layton Emery, risk management.
Samuel William Whitney, risk management. Andrew Wallace Delaney, real estate. Jacob Arthur Warden, finance. Cassie Ray Turner, marketing. Harry Alexander Mullen IV, economics. Gotham Ruby Shundrun, finance. Gregory Robert Sutton, Jr., MIS. Ali Murad, finance. William Graydon Woodard, management. Ryan Patrick Miller, finance. Catherine Marie Smart, management. Riley Beth Fogarty, management. Madison Ann Galuhu, management. Gage Andrew Fletcher, management. Richard Cooper Gilson, marketing. Aiden John Hansen, finance. John Douglas Kirby, economics. Madison Joy Lingenfelter, management. Henry Owen Hansen, marketing. Tanner Henderson, risk management. Cameron Luke Gilbert, MIS. John Carter Marks, economics and management. Joseph Alexander Benkin, management. Lindsay Hayden Smith, marketing. Elizabeth Ann Hugenberg, management, MIS. Jack Matthew Meyer, finance. Charles Frederick Wixon, finance. Michael Calvin McGraw, marketing. Ashley Candler McMunn, marketing. Arisamatella Lawanworku, Economics and Risk Management. Robert Johnston Anderson, MIS. Oh, sorry. Jenny Tran, Finance. Tiffany Nak Pham-Dong, Management. Terrell Hill Tuggle, MIS. Taylor Nicole Gannis, Risk Management. Abigail Michaela Knight Barker, Marketing. Gwyneth Rose Morera, Finance. Helen Mackenzie Hunt, Management. Zoe McMullen, Management and Real Estate. Shelby Rumor, Marketing. Haley Ray Peters, Management. Ella Ray Malone, Marketing. Carson Trapp, MIS. Tyler Blake Shiflett, MIS. Grant Palmer Melville, Finance. Thomas Matheson Cosgrove, Finance and MIS. Seth Winfred Reynolds, Finance. Alexander Reed Cogswell, Risk Management. Jackson Ryan Schaefer, Real Estate. Ronnie Dylan Goodman, Finance. Brian Wayne Dwyer, Finance. Rachel Ann Elizabeth Brown, Marketing. Elizabeth Clark Holly, Marketing. Morgan Louise Fowler, Marketing and Real Estate. Jacob Warren Burns, Finance. Ethan Mitchell Tull, Real Estate. Soraya Michelle Rapley, Real Estate. Olivia Simone Sharp, MIS. Elena Marie Berman, MIS. Lexi Kamoni Mosley, MIS. Cien Yao, Risk Management. Ryan Michael Chapman, Marketing. Zachary Donald Fleischman, Finance. Charles Harrison Lane, Finance and MIS. William Calloway Miller, Accounting. William Thomas Oppenheim, Finance. Larson Parrish Lewis, Accounting and Finance. Timothy Shaler Smith, Economics and Finance. William Graham Hall, Accounting. Neil Seymour, Real Estate. John Michael Balicki, Real Estate. Wesley Benjamin Potter, Real Estate. William Cody Bowles, Real Estate. Evan Russell Venable, Finance. Brett Dixon Bernard, Finance. Charles Cade Moore, Finance and Real Estate. Miles E. Martin, Accounting. Justin Bryce Spivey, Management. Sylvia Claudia Prim, Economics. Tristan Marshall Thomas, Finance. Ting Ting Brill, Economics. Connor Gentry Simmons, Finance and MIS. Sajin Patel, Finance and MIS. Karen Shenoy, Economics and Finance. Benton Matthew Hess, Finance and MIS. William Travis Chick, Risk Management. Danielle Marie Rizak, Economics. Sarah Leanne Strickland, Real Estate. Jordan Kelly Dyer, Finance. Alexa Elsie Al-Hamid, Real Estate. Claire Rothenberger, Accounting and Real Estate. Kayla Madison Simone, Real Estate. Christina Maria Sangrides, Real Estate. Zoe Elizabeth Walker, Real Estate. Jaya Liming Smith, Marketing. Jacob Lloyd Walls, Economics. William Camden Minton, MIS. Daniel Dunsanbeck, Marketing. Anmole V. Polpoltel, Management. Andrea Michelle Galeno Vargas, Accounting. Eric Brandon McCune, MIS. Tyler Jacob Newton, Risk Management. Bradley Thomas Glasser, Marketing. Kylie Aaron Kratt, Marketing. Matthew Wayne Kessler, Real Estate. Jordan Michael Heath, Finance. Brock William Arbeiter, Accounting. Harrison McCall Blair, MIS. Caroline Rose Marikay, Accounting. Veronica May Ockinger, Accounting. Tessa May Hammond, Economics. Jackson Lee Brock, Finance. Emery McLean Chastain, Risk Management. William Fan, Finance. Owen Farley Klasick, Economics. Sydney Nicole Hansen, Risk Management. Santiago Serrano, Risk Management. Julia Lauren Ford, Finance. Skylar David Harper, Risk Management. Sammy Elizabeth Rahensky, Marketing. Nolan J. Russell, Accounting. Anna Alyssa White, MIS. Anna Christine Kruk, Marketing. Rachel Lee Fatzinger, Marketing. Madison Reagan Kennedy, Marketing. Isabel Maestas, Finance. Paige Noel Gossett, MIS. Christian Faith Andrews, Economics. Josie Diane Gray, Management. Brady James Holbrook, Finance. Igor Danielenka, Finance. Brett Timothy Flatley, Finance. Ian Scott Kelly, Economics and Finance. Esther Raji, Finance. Emma Marie Barroso, Finance. Caitlin Elizabeth Kiker, Finance. Catherine Ellen Kent, Marketing. Joel Mayberry Brown, Risk Management. Benjamin Crowley Grisham, Accounting. Brittany Ann Breedlove, Accounting. Hannah Hebratovich, MIS. Julia Marie Lewis, Management. Elena Catherine Griggs, Management. Stephanie Patino Cervantes, Management. Grace Gabrielle Gumpert, Finance. Reagan Avery Lake, Management. Sean Colin Agostini, Management. Daniel James Smith, Accounting. Caitlin Ann Martin, Finance. Allison McKenzie Wyman, Marketing. Allison Taylor Schmidt, Finance. Anna Caroline Stewart, Accounting. Haley Elizabeth Shepard, Economics. Zachary David Matthews, Real Estate. Varun Betty, Finance. Malvika Jain, Marketing. Chakravarthi Nulu, Finance. Mariah De Jesus, Business. Jake William Challenger, Management. Anna Rosemary Gustafson, Finance and Risk Management. Julia Michelle Terrell, Risk Management. Siddharth Ibn Vuan, Marketing. Heather Ray Picorni, MIS. Marley Marlowe, Economics. Thomas Morrell Finley, Real Estate. Patrick David Balance, Finance and MIS. Jalen Christopher Stewart, MIS. Melanie Suzanne Allen, Business. Michelle Clendenin Shaw, Business. Tiffany Danielle Coda, Business. Crystal Samantha Buffington, General Business. Mackenzie Claire Chumley, General Business. Paul Butler, General Business. Julia Dabney Primos, Marketing. Catherine Ann Cassidy, Management. Kylie Selena Ray, Marketing. Mohammed Ed Ali, MIS.
George Ralston Johnson, Real Estate. Hans Julian Hansen, Marketing. Ryan Cameron Kumer, Accounting. Leo Bedoin, Finance, thanks. Andrew Samuel Brown, Accounting. Benjamin Joseph Typey, Risk Management. Noel George Daring, Finance. Yagna Patel, Finance. Caleb Evan Barheim, Accounting. Robert Scott Alexander, Accounting. Caitlin Louise Franklin, Economics. Jaden Arman Dosanri, Economics. Sahil Khatri, MIS. Rogan Monroe Fowlis, Finance. Ansley Marie Gokel, MIS. Jordan Bradley Hall, Accounting. Josephine Lin, MIS. Zhao Wei Huang Lu, Marketing. Sarah Lane Thompson, Marketing, International Business. Suzanne Hunter Lanyas, Marketing. Victoria Elizabeth Drake, Real Estate. Mary Claire McGarr, Real Estate. James Collier Allen, Finance. Leah Rose Young Hill, Finance. John Michael Law, Real Estate. Isabel Beatrice Stalker, Risk Management. Rachel Denise Loftus, Risk Management. Addison Angela Leffler, Marketing. Rebecca Danielle Loftus, Marketing. Erin Michelle Grimacy, Risk Management. Sarah Kendall Youngblood, Marketing. Aliana Rochelle Stair, Management. Mariah Cheyenne Lambert, Management. Jiahui Liu, Risk Management. Zachary Robert Vitelli, MIS. Ansley Grace Conkle, Marketing. Caroline Elizabeth Clark, MIS. Emma Josephine Wood, Marketing. Darby Camille Gainey, MIS. Ashley Stinson Balter, Marketing. Catherine Rose Zarek, Marketing. Sarah Bell Hilliard, Economics. Anna Maxwell Hilsman, Finance. Victoria Maria Brown, Economics. Emily Clara Levitt, MIS. Allison Grace Casso, Finance. Nicolette G. McFarland, MIS. Bella Scout Bass, Economics. Natalie Patricia Beckham, Marketing. Nish Patel, Finance, MIS. John Byrne Diganen, Finance. James Michael Nidal, Finance. Aaron Philip Kruger, Risk Management. Stephen Pope Cleghorn III, Finance. Nathan Goggins, Management. John Ryan Welsh, Risk Management. Andrew Gerald Gilbert, Marketing. Mary Grace Granigan, Marketing. Grace Elizabeth Bruns, Economics. Lauren Elizabeth Hatfield, MIS. Sanjana Mahir Chekanala, MIS. Cameron Knauer, Marketing. Sophia Eve Karanis, Marketing. Madeline Faye Martinson, Marketing. Jessica Ahern, Marketing. Kylie Margaret Bogomel, Accounting. Sienna Macon Howe, Economics. Valeria Alejandra Delgado, Management. Aiden Thomas Roberts, Management. Stephen Joseph Nowitzki, Real Estate. Denver McNair Susong, Finance. James Ryan Carter, Finance. Andrew Todd Krauser, Finance, MIS. Jacob Austin Hobbs, Management. Andrew Tyler Boudet, MIS. Matthew Andrew Torres, Finance. Thomas Scott Kerbo, Real Estate. Alston McCord Anthus, Marketing, Risk Management. Joseph Patrick Fernari, Finance. Kevin Maxwell Weissman, Risk Management. Daniel Whitaker Hutto, Finance. Whit Doherty, Management. Owen Williams Hunter, Finance. Nicholas Alexander Davey, MIS. Benjamin Matthew Talinko, Marketing. Alexander Reinhardt Hartman, Finance. Lauren Riley Callahan, Accounting. Danielle Ann Bischel, Accounting. Dennis Andres Minha, Risk Management. Malia Domingo Lacuzon, Finance. Grant Cheney Griffin, Economics. Ashley Rose Blackburn, Accounting. Ariba Lakini, Accounting. Siri Muthika Naduri, MIS. Carter Webb, Marketing, International Business. Sally Jane Cornwell, Real Estate. Vivian Elizabeth Austin Nab, Marketing. Christopher Allen Clark, MIS. John William Ashton, Finance, MIS. Connor Nicolaius Johnson, MIS. Bradley David Weedman, Real Estate. Muthan Anil Sunaune, Economics. Anna Claire Elizabeth Acosta, Economics. Amanda Ruth Slappy, Management. Lindsay Michelle Eichhorn, Marketing. James Thomas Gunnan, MIS. Jared Wesley Dobbs, Management. Ian Glenn Jones, Management. Joanna Elizabeth Bakey, Finance. Jillian Catherine Barrett, Finance. Ronya Nori Farah, Real Estate. Aishwarya Suryadevara, MIS. Ashley Ann Yaffe, MIS. Taylor Glasgow Kelly, Marketing. Rachel Carlin Biondo Glassstetter, Real Estate and Economics. Brittany Diane Hodges, Finance. Rebecca Jane Bolware, Marketing. Kasana Grace Page, Management. Mark Alexander Renner Andreu, Management. Kelsey Nicole Griffin, Marketing. Matthew Ryan Halbig, Finance. Grayson Palmer Lidowitz, Finance. David McNeil Edmonston, Finance. Maitri Patel, Economics. Jasmine Shea, Finance. Radhika Chatterjee, Economics. Chloe Grace Madison Wade, Economics. Margarita Salazar, Economics. Christian Randall Lim, MIS. Sienna Perez, Accounting. Leslie DeSantos, Accounting. Jonathan Gutma, Economics. Grace Eileen Brock, Finance. Sean Mitch Brock, Finance. Henry Nicholas Beltramy, Economics. Thomas Wilhite Kendrick Holmes, Risk Management. Connor Michael Kosovic, Management MIS. Matthew Glenn Adent, Marketing. Braden James Davidson, Finance. Emma Catherine Matthews, Accounting. Cameron Perry Walker, Marketing. Allison Lindsay Shaw, Real Estate. Jacqueline Marie Allen, Marketing. William Thomas Granada, Accounting. Taylor Thomas Hill, MIS. Sunning Min Cho, Economics. Faiz Janaja, Economics. Aman Bhatia, Management. Partha Darji, Economics. Madison Michelle Ogletree, Finance. Olivia Sue Owen, Economics. Amanda Marie McVeigh, Accounting. Joshua Ellis Muncie, Economics. Nicholas Farrell Morgan, Management. Michael Todd Perry, Economics. Zachary Keith Collette, Economics Risk Management. Caitlin Starr Anderson, Economics Risk Management. Alessandra Irene Labate, Economics. Nina Scarlett Severino, Economics. Wesley Jackson Henson, Management. Fendi Hermawand, Marketing. Benjamin Stuka, Finance. Luis Monteroso Franco, Risk Management. Samantha Marie Russo, Marketing. Anji Yang, Risk Management. Tiffany Chan, Accounting. Andrew Derrig Lisica, Management. Hadley Rebecca Hurwitz, Risk Management. Caitlin Sarah Roth, Marketing. Isabella Mary Asling Simarana, Nara, Finance. Rebecca Greenberg, Marketing. Kinsley Ellen Sellers, Accounting. Carol Frances Guidry, Finance. Eliza Rose Fitzgibbons, Economics. Riley Atkinson Parks, Marketing. Ariana G. Hinneman, Economics Finance. Rebecca Kim O, Economics. Caroline Marie O'Connor, Accounting. Madison Rose Koenig, MIS. Mary Catherine Cassidy, Real Estate. Callie McCormick Dawson, Marketing and Real Estate. Lauren R. Greenfield, Marketing, Real Estate. Jamie Ann Miller, Management. Margaret Faye Harrison, Marketing. Michael James Tasagas, Risk Management. Jana Kadiatu Masakwa, Accounting. Natalie Jane Exley, Management. Kristen Elizabeth J. Bavie, Finance and Marketing. Elizabeth Drew Brooks, Finance and Marketing. Elisa Lee Kepner, Marketing. Francesca Hope Cohn, Marketing. Grant Michael Fordham, Real Estate. Megan Elizabeth Walsh, Marketing. Julia Catherine Yarborough, Finance. Aaron Jacob Rice, Finance. Duplicate. Adam Jesse Spielberger, Accounting. Abigail Patricia Boyan, Marketing. Ria Ghosh, Management Information Systems. Fatima Sojawala, MIS. Leah Usefa, MIS Marketing. Kriya Patel. Alexandra Christine Ferrero, Marketing.
Mackenzie Jean Clifton, Marketing. Eve Victoria Eric, Finance. Hannah Price Wagner, Finance. Rachel Lynn Fiella, Management. Jacob Scott Gordon Davis, Management. Addison Andrew Bandoli, Economics. Julia Mungia, Marketing. Rachel Lee Armstrong, Marketing. Annie Elizabeth Harris, Management. Scott Douglas Bippert, MIS. Kaysen Davis Partridge, Marketing. Grace Ann Fitzgerald, MIS. Garner Ross Drummond, Finance. Luke Michael McCarthy, Finance. Brian Ikramona, Finance. John Lawrence Lambert, Finance. Jessica Rosemary Kafka, MIS. Daniel Scott Rubenstein, Finance. Sarah Nicole Gilmore, Economics. That's okay. Yasmin Albisi, Real Estate. Kate McHale Goodwin, Finance. Noah Eugene Eberhard, Finance. Molly Catherine Shapiro, Marketing. Caroline Elizabeth Smith, Finance. Brigitte Gibson Corbell, Finance. Benjamin Eli Siegel, Finance. Adam Wolf Sturisky, MIS. Jacob Frederick Sheely, Economics and MIS. Andrew J. Capuano, MIS and Marketing. Anna Kathleen Broken, MIS. Caroline Madison High, Accounting. Elena Marie Guerrera, Finance. Sean Garrett, Real Estate and Risk Management. Ryan Nicole Roberts, Economics. Robert Michael Barini, Marketing. Nicholas Ryan Huang, Finance. Richard Thomas Hills, Economics. Sanguine Bay, MIS. Timothy Chase Burdette, Economics. Mackenzie Michael McComb, Management. Michael Anthony Lopez, Finance. James William Currington III, Management. Michael Sean Widener, Accounting. Christopher Thomas Lee, Economics. Jesse Lee, Finance. Walker Dyson, Accounting. Joshua Christopher Arnold, MIS. Chase Hunter Hartman, Accounting. Hunter Christopher Akins, Accounting. Kristen Laura Cowie, Accounting. Celia Evangeline Scaff, Real Estate. Kelly Ann Palmer, MIS. Timo Edward Krull, Accounting. Griffin Nathaniel Ball, Economics. Jackson Kent Etter, Real Estate. Allison Marie Doss, Finance. Allison Nicole Bangston, Finance. Margaret Holly Polk, Finance. Audrey Jo Smith, Accounting. Madison Mary Francis, Marketing. Abigail Rose Davis, Finance and Marketing. Jacqueline Louise Shutt, Marketing. Elizabeth Grace Cummings, Accounting. Elizabeth Duncan Wiley, Accounting. Garrett Pierce Lewis, Management. George Michael Faluzis, Risk Management. Ryan Anthony Licati, Economics. William Bone Barber, Finance. Michael Charles Carlson, Finance. Matthew Craig Riggs, Real Estate. Cedriana Naquan Davis, Marketing. Adrian Robert Thomas Jr., Marketing. Jonathan Bradford Jones, Marketing. Benjamin Carter Jones, Finance. Clayton Branson Fuller, Management. James Nranglo Karanja, Management. Tobina Justin Ibachu, MIS. Jackson Christopher Katz, Finance. Anna Lee McCartney, Management. Michael Anthony Norton, Finance. Max William Marquardt, Finance. Brooke Lynn Carter, Risk Management. Anna Irene Bowen, Risk Management. Radhika Sharma, Finance. Ariana Gilani, Management. Tyler Ashley, Management. Tahia Anwar, Management. Leon Michael Greenberg, MIS. Zane Duran Corley, Management. Liam Cameron Milando, Real Estate. Paul Conroy Foley, Risk Management. Amani Omandi Uku, Risk Management. Simon Edward Corrigan, Accounting. Christopher Stephen Helak, Risk Management. Michael Christian Harad, Risk Management. James Vanderveer Blair, Risk Management. Miles Howard Fogel, Risk Management. Rita Gabriela Rojas Perez, Finance. Nikay Chiari Dominique Orji, Risk Management. Ryan David Beitzel, Finance. Eric Scott Franklin, Finance and MIS. John Andrew Cumby, Finance. Connor Ellis Heimberger, Finance. Vittorio Salvatore Corridore, Finance. Alexis Yolanda Anderson, Marketing. Alexander Green Davis, MIS. Jordan Addison Cochran, Finance. Christian Tyler Morset, Finance. Benjamin Chandler Barrett, Finance. Maxwell Hewitt Wall, MIS. John Charles Hampton, Real Estate and Risk Management. Charles Louis Zigliara, Finance. Brett Dillon Hollis, Finance. Andrew Daniel Crowers, Finance. William George Hanley Jr., MIS. Mary Claire Stevenson, Finance. Mary Claire O'Brien Howard, Economics and Finance. Isabella Louise Hallberg, Management. Lauren A. Clement, Finance. Brooke McCall Foy, Marketing. Elizabeth Schuyler Simmons, Marketing. Margaret Farrell Jordan, Marketing. Mackenzie Lynn Jacobs, Marketing. Ella Marie Tucker, Risk Management. Brendan Philip Laney, Finance. Ian Benjamin Levin, Real Estate. Alexander Lamar Atkinson, Accounting. Grayson Pierce Gladu, Marketing. John Bissell Hunt, Marketing. Riley Ann O'Hare, Real Estate. Allie Caroline Long, Management. Olivia Madison Sanders, Management. Hannah Rachel Sagji, Accounting. Richa Sendipakumar Patel, Finance. Kashali Sunil Thacker, Accounting and Finance. Kayla Ann Head, Marketing. Kelsey Hope Coughlin, Marketing. Sophia Ann Burke, Marketing. Manning Nicole Edson, MIS. Madison Williams Gavin, Marketing. Elizabeth McGuire Eddings, Marketing. Ashton Blair Harbin, Risk Management. Lindsay Keenan Kahns, Risk Management. Holly Elizabeth Leach, Marketing. Sarah Victoria Whitley, Marketing. Mary Frances Gurr, Management. Victoria Ann Beaumont, Management. Miranda Denise Jones, Finance. Jacob Aaron Moat, Marketing. James Shelby Edwards, Finance. Jeffrey Arjul Powell, Accounting. Cameron Jackson Pickering, Finance. Michael Patrick McCarthy, Risk Management. Jacob Edward Horskamp, Finance. William Cole Corsten, Management. Matthew Thomas Wilson, Risk Management. John William Thomas, Risk Management. Harrison Deckard Bell, Finance and Real Estate. Michael John Lowen, Marketing. Cole Patrick Coughlin, Finance and Real Estate. Brandon James Puckett, MIS. Addie Grace Trejo, Marketing. Mark Allen Grace, Risk Management. Connor Michael Westcott, Finance. Julie Allen Hensley, Marketing. Brittany Nicole Andrini, Finance. Carolus Yunji Stanfield, Marketing. Nicholas Joseph Muncy, Management. Kyle Thomas Casara, Risk Management. Anna Delane Henderson, Risk Management. James Lanier Crocker, Risk Management. Hannah Nicole Jordan, Finance and Marketing. Amanda Francis Stefani, Marketing. Robert Salvatore DeSana, Finance. Jack Ryan Cooper, Finance. William McGraw Hooper, Finance. Patrick Richard Kelly, Finance and Real Estate. Quentin Christopher Dixon, Accounting. Brittany Angeline Honore, Accounting. Kylie Alexandra Hannon, Marketing. Sarah Catherine Agee, Finance. Kiona June Porter Simmons, Economics. Nadia Wanda Gale Johnson, Economics.
Ahmed Yassine Ali, MIS. Hamza Cohn, MIS. Jackson Ryan McCann, MIS. Walker Preston Peed, Finance. Charles Elliott Sellers, Finance, MIS. Jack Benjamin Sutton, Accounting. Joseph Daniel Schwartz, Marketing. Ella Riley Mutrates, MIS. Allison Grace Pollard, MIS. Caroline Dell Collier, MIS. Claire Elizabeth Allen, Marketing. Jacob Ashley Henley, Risk Management. Colleen Danielle Marie Dugan, Economics. Molly Olwyn Downing, Economics Marketing. Sebastian Perdomo, Economics. Andrew Livaday Kubel, Finance. Jacob Allen Givens, Finance. Branch McGavick King, Management. Austin Charles Darnell, Risk Management. Will Bracknell, Finance. Brendan Tyler Hewitt, MIS. Daniel Joseph Bracco, Finance, MIS. Stephen Armstrong Garside, Finance. Marshall Dean Burton, Finance. Hunter Bjorn Peterson, Finance. John Christopher Herman, Finance and MIS. Joshua Michael Wright, Economics. Saeed Evora Phillips, Risk Management. Jacqueline Pamela Sanchez Mendez, Risk Management. Janesha Miche Waller, Accounting. Brooke Leanne Reno, Risk Management. Morgan Ashley Miller, MIS, Marketing. Julianne Mary Vogel, Marketing and Real Estate. Alexis Sitali Solis, Economics. Jordan Ray Anthony, Management. Ida Dowlapanta, Economics. Isabella Patel, Finance. Payal Narendarakumar Patel, Finance. Dara Dharmesh Panchal, Economics. Saron Gannett Witt, Economics. Maya Noel Gibson, Marketing. Adele Nunjogu, Economics. Luke Christopher Guark, Risk Management. Brizzy Edward Allen, Risk Management. Nathan William Hall, Economics. Landon Gage Watts, Finance. Joshua Anthony Bienefeld, Management.
Yes, sir.
Brandon M. Green, MIS. Christopher Jordan Smith, Economics.
Yes, sir.
Nichols Jackson Alfred III, Finance. Christopher Jeremiah Clements, Management and Marketing. Michael Osara Oboite, Finance. Kevin Chibuzo Wagu, Management. Temitaito Eki Sonia, Management. Kirsten Jaden Hicks, MIS. Morgan Farrell Barksdale, Finance. Mary Louise Kenny, Economics, International Business. Ethan Cutter Pope, Economics. Abigail Catherine Powlick, Marketing. Kendall Jeanette Kiba, Economics. Lauren Paris Edwards, Marketing and International Business. Ashley Elizabeth Little, Economics. Maya Kenna Elliott, Finance. Grace Elizabeth Mulroy, Accounting, MIS. Emily Suzanne Jacobs, Marketing. Olivia Lanier Geiger, Marketing. Connor McClure Norris, Risk Management. Andrew Stephen Reichert, Risk Management. Mariela Sanchez, Economics. Zachary Morrison Brooks, Management. Erica Elizabeth Landry, Marketing. Nicole Alyssa Turner, Economics. Ethan Ryan Ezel, MIS. Dalton Lee Greer, Finance. Adam Travis Jameson, Accounting. Joshua Clark Driscoll, Marketing. Elizabeth Ashley D'Antoni, Marketing. Diane Yvette Casalano, Marketing. Christopher Robert Dixon, Marketing. Daniel Young, Finance. William Adam Collins, MIS. William Townsend, Finance. Austin Thomas Luke, MIS. Cooper Hanft, Marketing. Alexis Kate Godfrey, Accounting. Ido Shawnee, Risk Management. Michael Dennis Gay, Management. Camille Yvette Lucas Stayart, Marketing. Chase Haroff, Risk Management. Sports Management. Connor Everett Johnson, Economics. Alyssa Parker Hamel, Risk Management. Mary Sloan Lanier, Risk Management. Spencer Nicholas Arndt, Accounting. Amy Sue, MIS. Luke Matthew Jensen, Management. Lorenzo Abugazella, Management. Kavor Joseph Hinkson, Economics. Kayla Michelle King, Finance. Erica Janae Plant, Marketing. David Austin Sumter, Finance. Catherine Hartley, Economics. Christopher Lee Jacobs, MIS. Jackson Kaplan Johansson, Management. Connor Holzman, Finance and Real Estate. Timothy James Chapman, Management. Jordan Grace Weems, Finance. Maxton Derone Pearson, Accounting. Connor William Spence, Management. Morgan Mayer Baldwin, Marketing. Baxter Booth Acock, Finance. Madison Elizabeth Veal, Management. Curtis Ryan Royalty, Finance. Grant Howard Morgan, Finance. Jack Robert Behrens, Finance. Toby Nicholas Chapeau, Finance. Lucas Antonio Carreño, MIS. Alsane Mendoza, Risk Management. Sahil Alat Patel, Economics. Benjamin Philip Nodvin, Finance and MIS. Noah Trugman, Finance. Joshua Ivanson, Marketing. Austin Tyler Blaze, Finance. Daniel Alexander Kraulick, Finance. Nicholas Andrew Bogarts, Finance. Jared Lyle Hopkins, Marketing. Leor Dov Greneth, Finance. Abe Leonard Glasser, Economics. Alexander Schaefer Friedman, Finance. Sophie Elizabeth Logue, Marketing. Aya Abdelwahab, Economics. Spencer Branford Emis, Economics. Joshua Lee Jimenez, MIS and Real Estate. Ramatulai Jain, MIS. Avery Hacklander, International Business and Accounting. Catherine Ann Livingston, Finance. Robert William Whaley, Marketing. J. Newton Bates III, Finance. Tyler David Muse, Finance. Russell Davis Williams, Risk Management. Sarah Ann Gagne, Economics. Haley Hurd, Finance. Lauren Grace Neumeister, Finance and Real Estate. Catherine Marie Bulow, Finance. Catherine Sky Caruso, MIS. Santiago Rafael Morales, Finance. Drake Allen Deaver, Finance. William Shadle, Economics. Colin Adekunle Babalola, Economics. Elizabeth Cheyenne Derricott, Management. Jackson Stephen Carlton, Finance and Real Estate. Kyle Thomas Highland, Economics, MIS. Sean Farrell, MIS. Evan Alexander Black, Accounting. John Stratton Cooney, Accounting. Eric Allen Hendricks, Finance and MIS. William Campbell, MIS. Valentina Galvez, Marketing. Audrey Park, MIS. Anna Vo, Marketing and International Business. Tiffany Chen, MIS. David Chu, MIS. Hunter Ryan Martin, Risk Management. Wesley Joseph Bullock, Risk Management. Wade Snow, Marketing. Emily Elizabeth Adams, Economics and Marketing. Julia Marianne Krasminski, Economics and Finance. Audrey Nicole Davern, Marketing and International Business.
Mine's the same, it's just hard to read, marketing and international.
Catherine Elizabeth Thompson, Marketing and International Business. Carter Wells Voorhees, Marketing and International Business. Kenneth Richard Bergman, Risk Management. Alec Henry Bryant, MIS. Gavin Luis Adeo, MIS and International Business. Madeline Rose Maurer, Management. William Arthur Biankowski, MIS. Eli West Hasselberg, MIS. Chase Alexander Johnson, Finance. David Joseph Blakes, Finance. Ryan Andrew Jordan, Finance. Alexander Gregory Roman, Accounting. Rahul Nalavava, Finance. Rodrigo Antonio Bolonos, Management. Justin Jackson, Risk Management. Andrew James Peters, Risk Management. Rafaela Oliveira Lima de Faria, Risk Management. Jiwon Choi, MIS. Frederick Douglas Nelthorpe, Economics, MIS. Amir Kevin Sarvgad, Real Estate. Andrew Vadim Golad, Finance. Ryan Patrick Cokes, Finance. Andrew Cole Iger, MIS. Hannah Elise Gross, Risk Management. Jessica Elise Tomasello, Finance, MIS. Caroline Ann Broderick, Finance, MIS. Salil Sunish Kumat, MIS. Hamza Sami Rathore, MIS. Sneh Pradeep Sudaria, MIS. Ruben Thomas Pulalikal, MIS. Andrew Cherian, MIS. Alyssa Caitlin Eldridge, Real Estate. Brooklyn Attic, Real Estate.
Isabel Sarah Davis White, Economics. Madeline Nyo Le, MIS. Jimena Moni Chen, Finance. Jesse Kim Hong, Marketing. Jared Daniel Middleberg, Finance. Benjamin Sternberg, Economics. Elijah Jacob Myers, Finance. Aaron Brett Rosenberg, Economics and Finance. Michael Richard Morgan, MIS. Daniel Paget Saul, MIS. Stuart Silverman, Marketing. Yuvender Sinilan, MIS. Colin Grant Riley, Accounting and MIS. Aminar Sultan Ali, MIS. Pavan Devraj, MIS. Laura Elizabeth Lands, Economics. Sabrina Isabel Medina Regier, Marketing. Morgan Elizabeth Pounds, Accounting. Yasmin Isabel Endler, Marketing. Alana Grace Byrne, Accounting and Real Estate. Rohit Sundar, MIS and Risk Management. Maxwell Henry Mayhew, Finance and Marketing. Aditya Guna, Finance and Risk Management. Jacob Ryan Agnew, Finance. Utharva Atalia, Risk Management. Shri Kumath, Finance and MIS. Lahari Madani, Finance and MIS. Victoria Veselinova, Finance. Perry J. Ardell, Marketing. Aiden Rex Ardall, Marketing. Alyssa Wynn Featherstall, Management. Abdul Rahman Shalabi, MIS. Graham Hoyland, Finance and Risk Management. D. Wu, Accounting. Wani Shi, Economics. Eric Zangbo Lee, Marketing and Risk Management. Zelin Hao, Risk Management. Chinyong Wu, Risk Management. Weidong Li, MIS and Risk Management. Shuhan Yang, Marketing. Kyu Lee, Risk Management. Michael Tanner Baker, Finance. Sean Matthew Dugan, MIS. Shane Everett Williams, Real Estate. Mason James McClintock, Economics. Zach Hubert, Real Estate. David Michael Marashulo, MIS. Carson Candler Davis, Finance. Christian Mark Barian, Management. Tao Vu Tan Jan, Finance. Zachary Fritz Samuels, Finance. Jeffrey Sho McGee, General Business. George Abram Dusenberry, Management and Spanish. Mason Edmund Mueller, Management. Samuel Matthew Massaros, Risk Management. Riordan Sloan Sheena, MIS. Alan Shu, MIS. Ton Nguyen, Accounting. And Andy Dafu Shu, MIS. Rachel Lee Bowman, MIS. Sydney Alexander Martin, Accounting. Holly Vildebel, Marketing. Zachary Andrew Wheeler, Marketing. Griffin Etheridge Morgan, Finance. Eric Coleman Strother, MIS. Jorge Maravilla Economics. Anam Unli, MIS and Marketing. Ahil Kitani, MIS. Vineet Patel, Finance. Krina Patel, Finance. Yash Harshad Patel, Management and Real Estate. Raj B. Patel, Risk Management and Real Estate. Matthew James Hargrove, Finance. Amanu Chimzi Ritki Welly, Management. Gavin Charles Foster Williams, Management. Shruti Muruganathan, Marketing. Hannah Joy Wetzel, Economics. Andy Wynn, Management. Daniel Jonathan Turson, Risk Management. Gabrielle Barbara Scott, Economics. Ethan Thomas Zakruski, Economics. Andrew Jake Riley, Finance. Diego Alberto Rivadeneira, Finance. Jonathan Edwin Rawes, Risk Management. Swetha Sritalam, MIS. Nicholas Lloyd Smith, Economics and Finance. Toy Hyung Yu, Accounting. Emily Brooke Shockley, Management. Daniel Aaron Chapek, MIS. Jack Michael Rush, Economics and Marketing. Reagan Scanlon Shue, Marketing. Sebastian Schott, MIS. Kevin Lee Shelton, Accounting. Ivy Danielle Shelby, Marketing. Daphne Lynn, Accounting. Charlene Shear, Accounting. Tristan Peterka, MIS. Woodfin Aipaok, Management. Maxwell David Wiest, Management. Ryan Lewis Sadigan, Finance and Real Estate. Shane Anthony Parcells, Finance. Brendan Thomas Pellegrino, Finance. Harriet Ellen Thompson, Marketing. Andrew Allen Schappenhorst, Management. Helen Gang, Economics. Kelsey Tran, Marketing. Jacqueline Pham, Management. Charles Parker Milliron, Marketing. Jenna Alexa Floresca Panglennan, Marketing. Greer Rogers Threadgill, Management. Elizabeth Johnson Parvey, Management. Elizabeth Grace Smith, Finance and Real Estate. Ryan Mitchell York, Economics. Anya Leah Jaffer, Marketing. Sage Allen Turner, Finance and MIS. Thomas O'Halloran Smith, Finance. Diamond Jaturia Wright, Accounting. Jennifer Helen Lusk, Finance. Come on up. Alexandra Eva Tomaris, Finance. Natalie Elizabeth Roberts, Finance. Josephine Brooks Maxwell, Management. James Hunt Thomas, Finance. William Calvin Smith IV, Accounting and Finance. William David Ridge, Finance, Risk Management. Robert Marshall Jones, Finance. Edward Lawson Schreiner, Accounting. Charles Emerson Mitchell, Real Estate. Wyatt Shields, Risk Management. Ryan Scott Stylen, Accounting and Finance. William James Sleeper, Economics. James Miller Kaufman, Risk Management. Ravi H. Patel, Finance. Mitchell Glenn Ryan, Finance. Thomas Martin Rodriguez, MIS. Sarah M. Blankenship, Risk Management. William Gary Saunders, Finance. Brent Miller, MIS and International Business. Vivek Deepak Ramachandri, MIS. Nathan John Yu, MIS and International Business. Bradley Herring, Finance. Martin Saruk, Risk Management. Justin Timothy Wheat, Management. Jacob Tyler Solaski, Management. J. Philip Pallas, Accounting. Weston Hyman, Finance and MIS. Kelly Mae Sheehan, Risk Management. Mariel Lauren Waltz, Marketing. Eva Grace Bangerter, MIS and Marketing. Rayanna Claire Sorosiak, Finance. Bradley C. Reeves Jr., Marketing and Economics. William Brian Schulstad, MIS. Catherine Grace McDowell, MIS. Jamie Lynn Yarbrough, MIS. Isabel Grace Toronto, Economics. Sean McLeod, Finance. Graham McLeod, Marketing. Grace Ellen Milam, MIS. Mary Elizabeth Richardson, Economics. Sharia Dendukuri, Economics and MIS. Neha Matavalam, Finance and MIS. Ryan Alexander Shaw, Economics. Haley Lauren Thane, Marketing. Sydney Nicole Council, Finance and Management. Joshua Monroe Howe, Finance and Management.
Natalie Jane Bador, Finance, Marketing. Jessica Ann Tardy, Economics. Andy Grace Brock, MIS. Emily Grace Ligon, Marketing. Corey James Salvi, Economics. Alexandra Hannon Tilkin, Economics. Catherine Palumbo, Marketing. Mary Frances Kitchens, Accounting. Sarah Catherine Houston, Marketing. Michael Thomas Bennett III, Real Estate. Raymond Charles Gibson, Finance. Foster Morris Hopkins, General Business. Joseph Harrison Hannon, Management. Lillian Branham Taylor Hannon, Management and Marketing. Jared S. Nady, Marketing. Hannah Nicole Stratka, Marketing. Sydney Brooks Laughlin, Marketing. David Scott Thrower, Finance. Abigail Moria Gaden, Accounting. Jackson Thomas Newton, Finance. Allie Ann Wagoner, Finance. Lillian Cecile Palmer, Economics. Cameron Martin Walker, Risk Management. Keaton Douglas Roberts, Real Estate. Adam Lewis Prusik, Risk Management. Grace Ann Erickson, Marketing. Ryan Jonathan O'Keefe, MIS. Peter Vincent Macri, Accounting. Nathan James Wakeman, Marketing. Anna Lise McClendon. Ashton Reese Wamsley, Finance and Marketing. Sarah A. Ninyan, Finance and Marketing. Kala Audrey Young, Marketing. Erin Cassidy Tackett, Marketing. Lauren Lana Tran, Finance. Sean Tack, Marketing. Tanya Suraish, Management. Samuel Brian Milton IV, Marketing. Joshua G. Purvis, Accounting. Harrison McLeod Ackridge, Management. William Samuel Markle, Finance. Daniel Patrick Mitchell, MIS. Joseph Adam Wargo, MIS. Catherine Frances Utman, Risk Management. Reagan Christine Troy, Marketing. Brooke Sarah Bowmaster, Accounting. Huntley Austin Rogers, Marketing. Mackenzie Alexandra Bruce, Finance. Morgan Elizabeth West, Accounting. Murphy Cox Reef, Finance. Mary Claire Stockmayer, Finance. George Walker Robinson, MIS. William James Robertson, Risk Management. Peyton Lee Satterfield, Economics. Austin Stephen Wojcik, Marketing. Abby Marie Stevens, MIS. Jacqueline Lee Reinhardt, Marketing. Ann Morgan Trapnell, Economics. Caroline Grace Bell, Marketing. Mary Catherine Peterson, Marketing. Kaylee Jean Garrigan, Risk Management. Peyton Elizabeth Tyndall, Risk Management. Tatiana Alexandria Hamedi, Marketing. Jonathan Paul Shang, Accounting. Sydney Grace Skinner, Marketing. Avery Reese Kirby, Marketing. Courtney Elizabeth Cahill, Finance. Chelsea Lynn Cahill, Finance. Haley Elizabeth Byrne, Finance. Kennedy Grace Smith, Risk Management. Sarah Rasher Hamburger, Economics and MIS. Kayla Patricia Whalen, Accounting. Meghna Vilas Patel, Management. Catherine Jane Hardigan, Accounting. Corbin Allen Nicholson, MIS. Nicholas Liam Propus, Economics. Michael Hunter Warren, Economics. Jacob Paul Myers, Economics. Peyton Curie Thompson, Finance. Camille Lee Craver, Real Estate. Chloe Cahill Key, Finance. Sarah Grace Schreibman, Marketing. Holden Grace Hopkins, Marketing. Caitlin Brooke Hode, Finance. Summer Patton Perkle, Marketing. Caitlin Wilson Cole, Marketing. Julia Ann Ogilvie, Marketing. Alyssa Leanne Fordham, Marketing. Ransom Thornton Smith, Finance and Real Estate. Randall Markham Smith, Finance. Tyler Ann Wynn, Real Estate. Julia Grayson Humph, Accounting. Talia Marie Yurko, Accounting. Matthew Jackson Morton, MIS. Jack William Senatempo, Economics. Catherine Michelle Peters, Economics and Marketing. Bethany Andrea Bunce, Finance. Clara Gail Zion, Finance and Real Estate. Mary Margaret Louise Long, Accounting and MIS. Daniela Galliano, Marketing. Jackson Charles McGowan, Real Estate. Andrew Owen Mackenzie Thomas, Economics. Thompson, Economics. James Michael Calhoun, Economics and Finance. Brandon Michael Beelens, Real Estate. William Joseph Dickinson, Finance. And Garrett Hampton Williams, Economics and Finance. You've all been waiting for this moment. Let's hear it. Join us in congratulating the class of 2022. Please join us as we congratulate the class of 2022, your graduates of the Terry College of Business.
What a day of joy and celebration at the University of Georgia. Congratulations to the class of 2022. We are incredibly proud of you. You are joining a very important professional network, the 75,000 plus alumni of the Terry College and the 300,000 plus alumni of the University of Georgia. I hope that all of you will help us continue to enhance the education and the opportunities for future generations of Terry students. Graduates, today would not have been possible without the support of your family and your friends. Please join me in thanking your family and friends for today. We hope to see you and your guests again very soon at UGA's undergraduate commencement. That ceremony begins at 7:30 p.m. between the hedges in Sanford Stadium. So we will now close with the recessional of the stage party. Graduates and guests, please remain at your seats until the platform party has left the Coliseum floor. When you hear the National Championship Georgia Fight song, you are free to go. Please rise.